in this year's Vitality Blast. It is a slightly delayed start, as I said, but we hope that these clouds are going to keep off now. Delighted to be joined by James Vince, the Hampshire Hawks captain. James, welcome back to the ground. The toss has happened. Can you tell us what happened?
Simon won the toss and decided to bowl, so yeah, we're batting first. Looks a fresh pitch under the covers, so yeah, hopefully it's a good one and a good game of cricket tonight.
You did the double, of course, over the Eagles last season. Does that play psychologically into your mindset for this one, perhaps?
Not before you just mentioned it. Now we started the competition with a couple of losses, so looking to get back to winning ways tonight and kickstart our competition.
And team news-wise?
Same team as we've been playing, apart from Chris Wood is resting this one and Scott Curry comes in.
Great. Well, go well this evening. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Simon Harmer. Harmy, welcome back. Good to see you, bub. Right, so you're bowling first. What's your thinking?
I think we back ourselves to chase here. We think it'll quicken up under lights. If there is any rain about, it sort of keeps it in our control, which I think it wasn't against Somerset. So that's kind of the thinking between bowling first, fresh wicket. So hopefully we can make first use of it.
And historically, Essex seemed to chase better than setting. And then we know the 5 wins last season came chasing, as did, of course, the game against Somerset.
Yeah, I think we've got some exciting...
Sorry, Kent. I beg your pardon.
We've got some exciting talent that's come in. I think the club has been very shrewd in how they've recruited over the winter. Guys like Adam Rossington and Matthew Critchley add a different dynamic to our white ball, which I think we've been crying out for. So really excited about this group and hopefully we can put on a good show for the people that have come down to Chelmsford tonight.
Team news?
Same team.
Same team. Go well. Let's have another win for the Eagles. Thanks, Simon Harmer there. He's won the toss first time this season. He's won the toss. So third time lucky for the Eagles. They are going to bowl first and we should be starting, well, in about 20-25 minutes. Get yourselves ready.
Dave, we're live when you lock off. Coming to you now, Haley. Coming to you, Haley. Just hold that shot for me, please. Ollie, this is Dave. Radio check, mate. Hello, mate. Got you loud and clear. Yeah, alright. Go back up again. Cheers, mate.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Cloud County Ground. Sorry for the slight delay, the inclement weather just pushing things back a touch this evening. I'm Simon Ward. Alongside me, Essex Eagles captain and Ireland international Kath Dalton. Kath, well, it looks like a lovely evening now. Let's just hope we get the full allotment of 40 overs, right?
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and good evening, Simon. It's cracking to be here at Chelmsford for the first game of this competition here at the home of the Essex Eagles. I'm very excited to see what happens, and with the toss news, I think it's looking quite positive for Essex.
Yeah, at last, third time lucky, Simon Harmer did win the toss and has elected to field first. As you can see, the Eagles ready to come onto the turf right now. It is the preferred option from the home side, no question about that. So first things first, it's happened. The tick is in that box as Nigel Long and Chris Watts, our umpires this evening, step out. Not a wet coat amongst them, so let's hope that power positive thought. And here, following him, comes Simon Harmer and the rest of the Eagles. New experience, of course, for the likes of Adam Rossington to have a home game here at the Cloud County Ground. This time, of course, for Dan Sams, there's the two Hampshire batsmen, Ben McDermott and Aneurin Donald, as previously in the opening two rounds. Getting things started for the Hawks this evening.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to be important to see how Essex start, because if we saw the last power play that Hampshire had last night was not too good. So it's all about the power play to begin with. Can Essex get off to a good start? A couple of wickets can always stem the flow of runs and make it difficult for the side batting first.
Well, Simon Harmer immediately changing the opening end, not going from the Hayes Close end, opening from the river end and giving first dibs to the new man, Dan Sams. There he is, the Australian left armour. He's going to get first dibs with the new ball.
And an exciting overseas prospect for Essex here, Dan Sams. Made his T20 Australia debut in December 2020 against India. So plenty of experience here to open up for Essex.
And he'll be wanting to show what he can do to the home fans as well. It's not been the perfect start from the new import. It has to be said, 1 for 80 in 7 overs thus far in this competition. So he'll feel a little bit of pressure just to show what he can produce straight up. It's going to be Aussie against Aussie. Ben McDermott taking guard to Daniel Sams. I'm sure these two will know each other very well from the Big Bash, wearing various colours.
It's always exciting playing against a teammate. If you get them out, you have first dibs on that. But yeah, exactly, that's the start that he's going to want to have, hitting that hard back of a length, maybe getting a bit of shape on the ball. We'll have to see if it does swing around this evening. We've had quite a lot of rain around, so it'll be interesting to see how the conditions go here for Sams.
Yeah, the pitch has been covered pretty much the entire time, and I don't suppose either captain really had the chance to have a good look at it. Sams keeping it tight.
And again, that hard back of a length, obviously, with only 2 scouts out, he's got to make sure he hits his area really well, otherwise McDermott can just free his arms. There's plenty of spaces out there, obviously.
Yeah, Michael Pepper is at deep square leg, well, just behind deep square leg. He's pulled another 10 degrees. Interesting to see whether he keeps up that leg stump line. He does, and in comes Pepper to keep it down to a single.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Simon, there. I think what Sams is trying to do is bowl straight, bowl tight with that deep square leg out. He can afford to occasionally get it wrong, but yeah, you've got to he's trying to attack the stumps to bring all forms of dismissal into play here. It's good to see.
quite a cool day here in Essex. It's with that inclement weather that's been changeable for the last 5 or 6 hours. It's taken any heat out of the air. I don't know whether it'll get much swing. We shall see. Be pleased with that.
Yeah, it looks like it's just shaping back into the right-hander there, obviously causing a false shot. And it's always the second shot you have as a batter. That's the one you were meant to play. So, yeah, deep square out, as we said before, and trying to get that ball to shape back into the right-hander will be crucial here for Sams. And we've got a decent crowd in, Simon.
Yep, we're looking at well over 3,000 this evening for a Tuesday night game. Lots of sellouts coming up with Friday night fixtures, but this one the midweek. And again, Sam's keeping that line, appealing more in hope than expectation, I think. But 5 balls gone, and he will be fairly satisfied, I would think, with the way it's gone. But there's always one to come.
There always is, and this is building pressure, isn't it? When you start with lots of dot balls like this, the batter is under pressure because it's the power play, and they're going to want to be scoring well here in the power play. But dot balls build pressure.
Oh, Donald picks him up there. That's a lovely pickup from the Hampshire opener, and just spoiling the opening figures of Sams in that opening over. 5 runs on the board for the visitors.
And that was the relief of pressure there. Sams, who had looked good, had only conceded 1 so far in that over to deep square leg. Just went a fraction too short there and allowed the batter just to get underneath it and release of pressure, wasn't it?
Now, interesting to see the options being picked up by Harmer for the other end. It's a regular opener, of course, but he didn't open the bowling at Taunton. Came on as third change, Aaron Nijjar. Got tapped for a few runs, 26 off his 2 there, but a regular opening feature of the Eagles to have the left arm spinner into the attack early doors. He's going to be up against Ben McDermott. McDermott finds a good angle to get through there. It's not going to reach the boundary. Sam's doing enough to make sure that Wesley can get it back.
And that's what he can't do, is give him width outside off stump, because he can just free his hands up there with quite a straight field set here. With mid-on on the fence and square leg back, he's going to have to bowl a bit straighter than that, Nijjar.
Just a hint of opportunity maybe for a caught and bowled, but a dot ball nonetheless.
That's where Nijjar will be trying to bowl just that fraction bit straighter, trying to vary his pace as well. One loopy, one a little bit flatter, just keep the batter guessing.
It's a good start thus far from the left armour. Ben McDermott playing his 100th T20 game this evening. He's got a few T20 internationals, of course, for Australia, last of which was in Lahore a couple of months ago now. McDermott goes big and goes long, and there's the first 6 of the evening gone to the Aussie opener.
And that was a huge hit, just effortless timing there by McDermott, and that has gone all the way into the houses at the back. I'm not sure we're going to get that ball back, but someone's just gained a new kookaburra in their garden.
Yeah, that's what McDermott's been known for, is the range of his heavy hitting. Of course, comes from a famous Australian cricketing family. His dad, Craig, swung a fairly hefty bat, not always to great effect. Ben McDermott, of course, a wicket keeper in the field and an opening bat in this format. Final ball of this second over.
And we've got a field change here. Interestingly, mid-on's come up. We've got a traditional cow corner that's gone into place. Deep mid-wicket has gone out to the fence.
Yeah, Pepper going back in front of the Felsted School stand. And McDermott happy to just take the single. So 14 off the first 2 overs from the Hawks.
And as a batting side, Hampshire will be happy with that, you know. A couple of dot balls, Essex have bowled in some good areas so far, but it's just those release shots that they've had has built a little bit of pressure back on the Essex side.
Always in that power play, you're looking to maximise opportunity, of course you are, but ultimately not losing any wickets in the first 2 overs is just as important.
Absolutely, I think if you're losing wickets early on, it can be very difficult to rebuild, and you lose that freedom to just hit out, whereas if you don't, then you can just keep hitting out, and obviously with only 2 out in this power play, it's difficult for a fielding and bowling side. There's been quite a few change of fields so far, trying to work out which is the best lengths and lines to bowl.
Well, they've managed to get the ball back from the Hayes close end. Sam Cook there waiting to open his campaign. One of the most reliable and regular bowlers for the Eagles in recent seasons, but hasn't snared a wicket yet in the opening 2 games. 0 for 47 in the game at Canterbury and 0 for 25 off just a couple of overs in Taunton. McDermott driving him through mid-wicket. That's beautifully timed, and he's going to get a 4 from it.
That just eased across the outfield there with just effortless timing. I think it was, his head went a little bit outside the line, maybe a little bit of a misguided shot, but seemed to get enough timing on it. It's just raced away across this outfield. That has been wet, so I'm surprised at how quickly that kind of ran across the turf there.
Although credit to the ground staff, they were roping it furiously before the start. Good comeback from Cook.
And that's what is important as a bowler as well. If you get hit for a boundary, it's your next ball is always the most important one. You don't want to get hit for a boundary twice to start your over.
Sam Cook, Chelmsford born and bred. Oh, McDermott just holding his ground, feeling the pain and having to get the dive out to make sure he wasn't run out. No sympathy from Donald. He just wanted the single.
And that's that key rotation of strikers. Got the full length dive out as well, which is good to see. I think the surface helped him there, just slide in, didn't it?
And the Aussie technique on the surfboard coming to play in the cricket pitch as Donald now gets set to face Cook for the first time. Good to see Aneurin Donald back. His first T20 appearance since August 19 in this campaign. First game against Middlesex. Of course, the Hawks still looking for that first win, but very much early doors.
Plenty of group fixtures to come, obviously, in this South group. So a couple of early losses sometimes doesn't really matter too much, does it, Simon?
They'll be maintaining their belief, that's for sure. Again, bowlers from the River End getting through. Well, that was a bit of a hoik shot it was from Donald, but we've seen it in the opening over from Sams as well, finding some joy on that leg stump line.
Yeah, and that back of the length seems to be working pretty well for the seamers so far. There's been a lot of missed time shots when it has hit a hard length, and they've tried to exploit the field. It just hasn't worked, so obviously difficult to time the ball. Perhaps back of the length is the way to go.
Cook changing the pace of that one just to mix the timing up for the batsman. That's a good comeback from Sam Cook. That early 4, the only runs in his first over.
And a really good slow ball to finish that spell off there, that over off.
Well, it's all change as Simon Harmer invites Ben Allison to get going as well. Mixing things up early doors, the Eagles captain.
That's a great tactic in T20 cricket. That means that batters can't get settled. Sometimes when you face a couple of overs from a bowler, you can get settled, you start to pick their slower balls, but changing up is always good.
Oh, McDermott picking that length up superbly to smash it through the covers.
Elegant shot that, just raising it over cover, a little bit of loft on it, got it over the infield, and that's all you need to do in the power play is just get it over the infield and a couple of bounces, raced away for 4, lovely shot.
Allison just getting the length wrong there. Good retort from the young Essex paceman.
And once again we see there that hard length, that back of a length crashing into the top of off stump has been the way to go so far. The previous delivery a little bit too full, and that's why he got driven for 4, but that hard length seems to be working here at Chelmsford this evening.
Ben Allison, just 22 years of age still, very much finding his feet in the professional game. Came out of Brentwood Cricket Club.
There's plenty of local boys in this team, isn't there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the connection and the identity is very important to Essex and the Essex Eagles, and it certainly provides plenty of well, identity is the word, isn't it? It is an Essex team with a few important add-ons.
Absolutely. And that's what this crowd love, that Fortress Chelmsford, as we like to call it.
Walter unable to get the shy away. McDermott comes through for another single to take Hampshire up to 24 without loss.
That was a very well-run single there in the ring, because obviously Walter is on the ring, so they managed to get through for a good single there.
Donald just retaking his guard. .14 in the first game and a single in last night's game at the Ageas Bowl. Just challenging Simon Armour, saying, go on, have a go from the angle, see if you can do it from 45 degrees.
And that's yet another quick single. Sometimes as a fielder, that makes you want to push in a little bit further on that inner ring and try to stop the single. Maybe they're trying to do that so they can exploit over the top. But 2 very quick singles there by Hampshire.
Again, the Essex bowlers keeping their line tight in the early stages. 25 now off the opening 4 overs for the visitors. A couple of overs left in the power play. Looks like Cook is going to stay on for another over. Good crowd in. Few thermals maybe in place. It did get significantly colder today.
It wouldn't be England in May if there wasn't some thermals going around.
The last day of May. June can't come quickly enough.
We've had all different weather conditions here. Blazing sunshine and lashing rain.
Cook goes past the outside edge of Donald, and that is what Sam Cook has built his reputation on, the regularity, the consistency, the line, that he just seems to find that channel.
That was a fantastic delivery there. It's always good as a bowler when you see a batter play a big play and miss outside off stump. It's always enticing, although he had a slip in the first over. That slip has now come out. So whether he puts one back in, we'll see.
Slower ball from Cook, and again Donald cannot get it away.
That's something that Cook's done very well in the opening 2 overs of his spell. He's mixed up his pace, but hasn't bowled lots and lots of slow balls. I mean, we've seen some bowlers, Jay Dernbacher is one that I can think of, who maybe over-bowled his slower balls, but just mixing up that pace does make sure that Donald is second-guessing what's coming down.
Oh, Cook's got it through. Again, changing the pace. Donald couldn't react to it. First wicket is down. Anna and Donald bowled for 5 by Sam Cook. And Hampshire Hawks now 25 for 1.
And Donald couldn't really get going there, facing 9 deliveries, only scoring 5 runs, and it was difficult for him. But reward for Cook. Really good couple of deliveries there. Pressure was on with a few dot balls and a well-justified wicket.
Well, the first wicket in this campaign for Sam Cook. Top wicket taker, of course, for the Eagles last season. 20 in all at an economy rate of 7.82. So that'll put a smile on the face of the young man. Now up against probably the batsman in the Hawks lineup, Captain James Vince.
And now this is an interesting battle, isn't it? With James Vince coming to the crease with a wealth of knowledge and a lot of experience at the PSL, in the Big Bash as well, and obviously international experience as well. So this will be a challenge here for Cook.
Yes, got a deserved reputation in this format of the game. As you say, Quetta Gladiators in the PSL, Sydney Sixers in the Big Bash, and of course a winner, one of the England squad who won the World Cup in 2019.
What a year that was.
Certainly was. A little bit special and a little bit memorable. Again, Cook keeping that tight line, middle and off. Changing the field a little bit now. Just looking to see Dan Sam's in that changing the pace of that one, just a square leg, and he's putting another man out deep on the leg side, so all the offside fielders in the ring. What's he going to bowl here? Again. And the appreciative crowd for that wicket maiden from Sam Cook. And now 5 overs gone for the Hawks, 25 for 1 on the board.
Well, that was a fantastic over there by Sam Cook. Wicket maidens, not often you get those in the power play first up in T20 cricket, but he closed out that over very well. Just dropping deep mid-wicket back, as we said, protecting himself from a boundary ball. But really great over there for the Essex Eagles.
So Harmer keeping things moving. Sams, who opened from the river end with 1 over, now gets first dibs, or second dibs I should say, or should it be third dibs actually, aren't we? Such is the way the game's moving. He's going to try his luck around the wicket from the Hayes close end.
Yeah, sometimes an angle change is all you need as a batter. I mean, he bowled a very good first over, but this angle change might be interesting.
To McDermott. McDermott goes for that pull.
It's been difficult to get away here so far. McDermott on 19 off 18 deliveries. They've really struggled to knock it around as well as score boundaries. There's been a lot of dot balls and then a boundary ball to get them out of trouble, but there doesn't seem to be a massive rotation of strike so far.
All these 3 contestants know each other well, of course, from the Big Bash. Vince with the Sydney Sixers, Sam's with the Sydney Thunder, and gets past the outside edge of McDermott, as he's probably done when McDermott's been up against him for the Hobart Hurricanes.
That delivery looked like it just bounced a little bit there. McDermott's tapping the pitch, which all good batters do when they play and miss, but that was a really good delivery. Excellent line there by Sams. If he can keep bowling this area, I think he's going to be difficult to get away.
Again, the Essex bowlers have been really working hard. Mick Lewis has obviously had a word in their logo saying keep it tight, keep that line close to the stumps, and all 4 bowlers have managed to do that, bar a couple of 2 or 3 boundaries that we've had in the first 33 balls.
And I think the power play is very important in T20 cricket. It sets up the rest of the innings. So this power play has so far gone to the Essex Eagles.
Flash outside. Gets the 4 on the board.
So this power play has so far. That shot's just come from pressure, hasn't it? He's just played a big swash at it, and it's
Flash
nipped over the
outside.
boundary for 4. But
Gets the 4.
Excellent bowling here by Essex. Excellent bowling by Sams. He won't be disappointed in that because he's creating chances.
McDermott, 23 now off 21. Couple of 4s and that's 6 off Nijat. Sam's just driving it into the pitch a bit more.
Yeah, once again hitting that back of the length, that difficult length to hit, and it has been difficult on this surface. I think the seamers have worked that out very early on. There hasn't been a huge amount of slower balls or Yorkers early up. They've just had to hit that hard length and let the ball do the talking.
Well, getting through the fielder, and that is going to go for another boundary. The last ball of the power play gets the 4, another 4 on the board. So 33 off the power
getting
play
through
for
the
fielder,
Hampshire
and that
Hawks,
is
just
going to
the
go
loss of Andrew
for
McDonald.
another boundary.
Yeah, and a balanced power play. I think Essex probably would have just nudged it there. I think Hampshire would have liked a few more runs on the board, but sometimes just losing 1 wicket allows you still to have that freedom as we come into the middle overs of this T20.
Well, here's a first chance for Matt Critchley to show the Ham fans what he can do in the T20. Had a good game, of course, in Taunton with the bat. Now looking to show what these leggies can do for his new team. Critchley, who was mentored by Stuart McGill, the former Aussie leggy out in Sydney, and is having more and more impact with these leggies. Of course, with Derby last season had a dozen matches and took a dozen wickets. An economy of 6.76, that's not bad for a leg spinner.
Obviously with the field spread now as well, there's going to be more singles about, so it's just about bowling to your field in these middle overs.
Good loop from the young leg spinner there. Critchley, 25 years of age, so coming into his prime now with bat and ball. Again, just tempting the batsman to go, and the timing not there from McDermott.
He's getting through this over very quickly, isn't he? Not letting the batter settle at all.
And you can see McDermott is just getting a little bit frustrated here. Single off the first ball and 4 dots to follow. This is the final one. This is a big one. Well, the crowd really appreciating the first over from Matt Critchley. Just the single off it. And the Eagles keeping the pressure on their visitors thus far.
Magnificent over there for Critchley. Really good bowl to his field, made it difficult to get away. There was nothing there to be hit. It was all very difficult to get away for the Hampshire batters. And McDermott just looking ever growing frustrated here. 27 off 28 deliveries. He just looks like he's getting a little bit frustrated. Some rash shots are coming out.
Of course, Harmer able to play with a spinning trinity, if you will, including himself, of course. Gives him slightly different variations, slightly different options to change the pace of an innings from the bowler's end. Is James Vince up against Aaron Nijat.
I think Vince is going to have to be the one that just knocks it around, tries to get the scoreboard rotating for the Hampshire Hawks. They struggle to get anything away, but I feel McDermott's going to be the one that still tries to go here.
Nijjar just trying to tempt him too wide there, and umpire swings his arms, flaps his arms for the first wide of the innings. McDermott looking for the reverse. The change of trajectory from the left armour.
And as a bowler, if someone's trying to do something a little bit different to what he has been the whole innings, that's odds on you.
Vince with that effortless timing, particularly through cover point.
He never looks rushed, does he, Vince?
No. Classy player, James Vince. 31 years of age now. An athletic throw from the skip.
Yeah, really good fielding there in the ring by Harmer, just preventing that one down to mid-on. He's quite straight there actually, which is just helping Nijjar.
Again, McDermott gets the reverse sweep out. Again, it doesn't get anything on the board though.
He is looking frustrated now. You can see it in his body language, just getting a little bit frustrated with not being able to get it away.
Oh, that's a glorious shot. That was a real bullet out the rifle there, and we suspected it was coming, and McDermott goes to his highest score for his new team, for the Hampshire Hawks.
Yeah, cracking shot there by McDermott. Fast hands through the back of that ball, and that has raced along the turf and smashed into the advertising board. Really lovely shot there, and a release of pressure for McDermott because he was under pressure. Lots of dot balls, hitting the fielders rather than hitting the gaps, and he's hit a really nice shot there.
Well, Critchley going to get to double up his efforts from the river end. Oh, has he got him? Yes, he has. Vince has gone. Vince has gone cheap. Just 3 runs to the Hampshire captain, and Matt Critchley gets a very, very valuable scalp there.
Huge wicket of Vince, absolutely massive wicket of Vince. He was the one that looked calm. He looked like he was going to potentially just knock it around, but really fantastic delivery. A little bit quicker, a little bit flatter, and a great taking. You can see Vince's frustration there. He knew how important that was, and they've had a batting collapse before. This could be the start of it again.
Well, I'm sure that Simon Harmer will look at the scoreboard and be pretty content right now, keeping the opposition to 5 and over. It's going to be interesting to see now how Joe Weatherly and Ben McDermott try and get the rhythm into this Hawks innings.
Credit to Essex Eagles of how they've bowled and how they've fielded so far. It hasn't been easy for these Hampshire players to get it away, although Chelmsford is a small ground. They have found it difficult to find the boundary. I feel pressure's on here for these Hampshire players.
Slippers in. You can just see Critchley tempting. Beautiful arcing ball out of the back of the hand for the leggy.
You feel now that these Hampshire players are going to have to rebuild. They're going to have to knock it around, find the occasional boundary, but start to build a little bit of a platform, which has been difficult to do so far.
Goes a bit shorter on that, but there's cover out on the point boundary from Ben Allison.
And that's what's so important in T20 cricket, is getting your field set right. Making sure your best fielders are in the right positions to prevent boundaries, and also in the ring to prevent those singles.
Well, that didn't go where Joe Weatherly was aiming for it.
as you just said, Simon, a couple of balls before, when he got that flight, it was difficult to hit. But he is mixing up his pace very well here.
Good fielding. Tight stuff from the Eagles. Tight stuff from the bowler as well.
As a bowler, that's exactly what you want. You want your fielders in the ring to be preventing those singles so that you can build that pressure on the batter.
Well, it's a good couple of overs from that man there. 1 for 5 off 2 overs is a great return from a leg spinner. And that Critchley just showing the home fans what he's about.
Yeah, I was just about to say, appreciated by this home Essex crowd. He's bowled magnificently well there, as I said before, mixing up his pace, getting his fielders in the right positions to prevent those boundary balls are only going for 1, and these Hampshire players are struggling by the look of it.
Well, they've psychologically got the knowledge they did the double over the Eagles last season. Indeed, it was in the second round here that they won by 13 runs. Joe Weatherly was top scorer on that occasion with 42. Ooh, how did that one get through? Good work from Buttleman, but it's going to be 3.
Not sure how that missed.
No, bowler and wicket thought that was a good one and a goner.
Sometimes as a batter here, you just fix your gloves, have a look around the field, try and slow it down, because Essex have been getting through these overs very, very quickly at the moment.
Najar inviting the sweep, and it's pulled out by Weatherly. Najar in his 3rd over. Half century comes up in 56 balls for the Hawks. Weatherly looking for the little paddle down the offside, thankful that there was no slip in.
Well, it's a big change of flight there from Najar as well. Much more loopy, making it very challenging for these Hampshire players. Haven't been able to get them away just yet. Ooh.
Well, Weatherly brings out the long handle, and despite the 2 Essex fielders on that leg side, picks up the boundary.
Yeah, he just picked the gap there between those 2 players, hit it with enough conviction, 1 bounce, and a diving effort couldn't stop that.
And again, the sweep produces the runs. Joe Weatherly picking up 2 boundaries at the end of Najar's over, and providing a little bit of momentum, impetus, Kath, into this Hampshire innings.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what they needed. 2 wonderful sweeps there that just dissected the field, picked the gap. That's what you have to do in T20 cricket. You've got to pick the gap.
Change of bowling from the River End. It's Captain Simon Harmer.
So, Skip is on at last. Had to wait until the second half of this innings to see him. And this will be a very interesting contest now. McDermott against Harmer.
Harmer's the perfect bowler for this situation, you feel, with all his experience and at the moment with his international cricket too.
Well, is he out? He hasn't gone long enough. First ball wicket for the captain, Michael Pepper, the catcher. Well, you want impact, you bring yourself on, I guess.
Absolutely. That's the wicket that Essex would have wanted. It was a big, it looked like a big hit. He gave it absolutely everything, but didn't quite get enough of it. And an easy catch there on the fence.
And McDermott's gone. The opener's out for 38.
McDermott departs for 38.
A difficult innings there by McDermott. Didn't really get going. Had passage of play where he started to hit the boundary, but didn't do it consistently enough and was starting to eat up actually quite a lot of deliveries. I think Harmer will be absolutely delighted with this start by his team.
So, new signing Ross Whiteley steps out, formerly of Worcestershire, of course.
New batter for Hampshire Hawks, number 4, Ross Whiteley.
So the Eagles have taken the Hawks' top 3 out of the equation now. Let's see what the middle order can do.
Yeah, Ross Whiteley with lots of experience, 33-year-old now. Career strike rate of 141.8 in his T20 career.
Whiteley just able to nurdle that down the leg side. Of course, it doesn't matter now whether you cross when you're out. It's Whiteley who comes straight into the strike.
What are your thoughts on that new rule, Simon?
I think it's fine. I don't have an issue with it really. I think if the man's out, then he's replaced at the wicket by the next batsman. Whiteley stepping back to find the room.
Yeah, Whiteley trying to give himself a little bit of room there to work it into the offsides, trying to get his innings underway here. Sometimes you need someone with a bit of experience here in these middle overs just to calm things down for the Hampshire Hawks. Things have been a bit frantic so far.
Weatherly just covering up to make sure there was no opportunity for the off spinner to find a way through. Yeah, Whiteley known as a power hitter, but very experienced bat. Simon Harmer knew that came off the stub end, calling for more chalk for that one.
Absolutely.
Final ball of Harmer's first over. Well, what a good first over it's been. 1 for 4 from the Eagles skipper. Just what he will have wanted, what his team will have wanted. Another man back in the hutch. 3 down now for the Hawks, 63 on the board after 11.
And they haven't really been able to get any kind of partnership going here, Hampshire Hawks. Every time they look like they're starting to build a mini one, they lose a wicket. So this has been very difficult for them so far. It's hard to take risks, as you can see. They're playing a lot of conservative shots at the moment, trying to work out how to rebuild their innings.
Well, this will be interesting now because Critchley's coming back on from the Hayes close end. With the slightly shorter boundary behind him, it's going to be tempting for Joe Weatherly and co. to see if they can lift him out into the Hayes close.
Yeah, that's definitely the boundary that he's going to target. I'm sure his eyes are lighting up towards it.
Critchley keeping it low and fairly quick into the batsman there to make sure he had no opportunity to swing.
Yeah, backward point doing his work there, making sure that didn't pierce the gap.
Using his feet to get to the pitch, but no thought of lifting that one.
Yeah, I think this boundary here is something like 55 metres. It's not very big at all. So for any of these guys, that's almost a miss hit, to be honest with you. With the bats they have these days, Simon.
Yeah, not quite the railway sleeper that Graham Gooch used to swing, but still a heavy piece of timber that tends to go the whole way. And, well, Ross Whiteley is one that has got that on his CV, no question about that. Nice googly from Critchley.
Yeah, really well bowled that, really well bowled, especially to the left-hander on strike. He's mixed up his deliveries well here, Critchley. They found him hard to get away, and as you said, bowling with that short boundary is never easy as a spinner.
Good fielding from Sam Cook, and the Eagles have kept on their toes thus far, it has to be said.
Yeah, nothing's broken through that inner ring yet. It's been very difficult for these Hampshire players to get it past the inner ring and out towards the boundary.
Again, Weatherly trying to get down the track, but just the single, and Essex won't mind that.
Yeah, we haven't had a boundary for a while, I don't think.
No.
Just shows you how difficult they've found it out there so far. The Hawks.
Whiteley trying to open up, but Pepper in the right position, and just 3 runs off that Critchley over. Look at those figures, 1 for 8 off 3. Well, that is terrific bowling from the leggy. Now, can Harmer continue to tighten the grip around Hampshire throats right now?
And that's what Essex have done really well, is bowling partnerships. When you're bowling well and your partner at the other end is also bowling well, then you're collating those dot balls together, and that pressure just keeps building on the opposition. And then they have to play a rash shot, as we saw with Harmer when he got someone caught out on the fence earlier on. That does build the pressure. Oh.
That is terrific fielding down there from Pepper. Well, he took the catch. He's had 2 smart pieces of fielding out on the leg side boundary.
You just thought as soon as that came off his bat, that's 4. But wonderful bit of fielding, diving stop, and prevented a boundary. Again, they're struggling to get a boundary still here.
The call for catch is a little bit ambitious as the ball goes on the bounce to Aaron Nijjar at square leg. Now this is where it will be interesting, with the off-spinner bowling to the left-handed bat. How he places his field is going to be absolutely critical.
He's actually chucked a slip in here as well, which is even more interesting, shows how valuable this wicket is.
Goes for the big one, doesn't connect.
Yeah, Harmer just putting his slip in. Just shows you how much Essex Eagles are on top here.
A little more conservative in his approach on the second ball.
He certainly learnt his lesson from that first delivery.
Looks like Luke Benkenstein's on, wearing 99. Not sure who he came on for. We shall pick that one up as the game continues. Weatherly again, happy to advance down the track to try and negate the spin, but unable to really pick up any big scores as yet.
As Harmer comes in here. Weatherly with a cracking shot down the ground. Nobody's stopping that. What a wonderful shot that was. That's the first one we've really seen timed. Punishing shot down the ground there, just waited on it. Lovely shot.
Yep, a shot that the Hawks really need, and it's always that boundary off the last ball that just changes the feel of the game. Of course, the Hawks will need to build on that, but 74 for 3 now off 13 for the visitors. Be interesting to see now. Sorry, just looking now. Critchley coming on for his final over. This is going to be a big 6 balls, you would think. Good work by Ben Allison in the end.
Yeah, every Essex fielder so far on the boundary has done his job. Prevented a few 4s going past them. But yeah, it's been a lot of spin in these middle overs by Essex. We haven't seen any seamers so far in the middle overs.
Again, Whiteley trying to open up those shoulders, but only picking up the single.
And singles are absolutely fine. I mean, Essex won't mind singles. It's boundaries that are the killer in T20 cricket. So a few singles and a few dot balls, but he's had a magnificent spell so far here.
Weatherly picks it up, and puts it over the top of Pepper for that maximum. Well, Pepper thought he was in with a chance there of another catch out on the leg side.
Yeah, I think the crowd thought he was in for a chance. They're all jumping for him out there, but just got it over. And for 6.
Yeah, good work from Weatherly, recovered from that fractured hand against Lancashire in the county championship. And as you can see, playing an important part in this T20 campaign for the Hawks already.
Yeah, and he's the only one who's looked like he's really timed the ball. Everyone else has really struggled to get the ball away, but he's, faced a few dot balls, got a few singles and managed to get away a little bit here.
Critchley's last ball of his spell. Oh, and almost picks up another wicket. 1 for 20 then for Matt Critchley off his 4 overs. And what a very, very good spell it's been from the leggy.
Yeah, fantastic spell. Unbelievable spell in T20 cricket. And that delivery there just bounced just short of that diving fielder. So very unlucky there not to pick up a second, but he'll be very happy with that spell.
Right, now the
Change of bowling.
pace is back in. Ben Allison coming in from the River End.
Ben Allison.
Half a dozen overs left in this inning. What do you think, Kath, that Hampshire will be looking for with 6 overs left?
Funnily enough, I was just about to ask you the same thing. I think they're going to have to get up to something around 140 here. Any predictions, Simon?
Lovely shot from Weatherly. That was a superb pickup on the sweep from the young man. Just look at this, the timing on this. Outside off stump. Yeah, I'm going to say I think they'll be looking for 150, 155 on a ground like Chelmsford, which, when you get going, the boundaries are very appealing.
Absolutely, and Weatherly has just shown us that. As I said earlier on, start of his innings, he was struggling, but he looked to knock it around, and suddenly he's raced to 33 off 20 deliveries. So starting to look a little bit easier out there for him at the moment.
Pick up doesn't quite work for Weatherly there. Yeah, Weatherly striking at 165, 164. That's a good return in the middle of the innings, and Weatherly and Whiteley will be just looking to get some momentum now into this scoreboard, especially against a youngster like Ben Allison.
Yeah, this is probably one of the bowlers they'll look to target with a little bit more pace back on the ball. They struggled against the spinners. Maybe a little bit more pace might just help them here find the boundary a few more times.
Difficult over on the leg side now for the left-hander because that sun is quite low. Awkward if it goes upwards. We'll see where Whiteley's intending to go this. Well, it goes out leg side, but easy for Will Buttleman.
And Whiteley's job here will just be to keep rotating the strike, give the strike back to Weatherly, as he's the man that's in at the moment.
Good change of pace from Allison, forcing the full shot from the informed Weatherly.
Looked like it was just going down, just sliding down the leg side there, but really good change of pace by Allison. That's what you need to do in T20 cricket. Make sure you keep mixing up your deliveries, mixing up your pace. Variations are key as a seamer.
Whiteley back facing. Again, the change of pace from the young paceman, just doing the job.
Yeah, great change of pace once again. I think what he's realised throughout this over is the change of pace is working for him, you know. Difficult to get that away, so keep mixing up your pace. Makes it difficult for the batter.
Just dipping down leg side, and Nigel Long flaps his arms for the wide.
Yeah, Allison will want to be closing out this over now, making sure that there's no boundary off this last delivery here.
Squeezing it through, Weatherly picks up the 4.
Yeah, hands on hips by Allison there, who's disappointed with that. It's not what he wanted. Slower ball once again, but it's just gone past backward point and raced away for 4. Yes. Possibly a disappointing end there, really.
Yeah, he'd worked hard within the middle of that over, but the boundaries at either end tarnishing those figures somewhat.
Change of bowling from the Hayes close end.
So into the final quarter of this inning, and Aaron Nijar back to finish his spell. 0 for 30 off the opening 3.
Yeah, and a few wickets in hand, obviously, for the Hampshire Hawks, so they can afford to be a bit more expansive as they go into these last 5 overs.
Whiteley goes high, goes long, and everybody turns to watch the ball bounce off the Tom Pearce stand. The maximum from the new Hampshire Hawk.
Yeah, lovely shot there, just picked it up. Great hands through the back of that ball. And it's just raced, that's just sailed over everybody's heads for 6. They've earned that a little bit because they have struggled a little bit in the middle overs, but with wickets in hand, they can afford to go for it now.
Dot ball to follow. Century up now for the Hawks in the 16th over. Again, Whiteley goes high, and again it sails out. This time I think it's a 1 bounce 4. Oh no, it's gone 6. Paul Walter puts both arms up to signal the maximum.
What a fantastic shot this is over extra cover. Possibly the hardest place to hit a 6. So even though it just crept over the boundary, didn't sail over. And that brings up the 50 partnership between these two. And that's exactly what the Hawks wanted. They wanted a partnership in these middle overs so they can go big here.
Well, 6.6 and out. Sam Cook in the right place. Aaron Nijar picks up the wicket, and the dangerous Whiteley is gone. Cracking innings from the left-hander, 23 off 15.
Yeah, Nijar just bowled that a fraction flatter, made it difficult to get under, and Whiteley was very disappointed there. Looks disappointed as he's walking off as well. He only just started to get going in that innings with 2 big 6s already off that over. That's not what he wanted.
That could be a vital wicket for the Eagles just to stem the flow that Whiteley and Weatherly had built up.
It's the informed James Fuller. It looks like he's coming to the crease.
It is, I think it is Fuller. I'm just looking to see if he's going to turn his back a bit for me, but yes, it's number 26. It is Fuller who got the runs for the Hawks yesterday. 42 off 28 Taunton at Southampton. And now into the final 5 overs of this game. James Vince changing the batting order to get the informed batter in as quickly as possible.
Well, I saw last night on Twitter that a burger van tweeted, I think a little bit of sarcasm, that James Fuller's 6 went into his frying pan area yesterday.
Well, onions or not, he's out there now, and Aaron Nijjar has finished his spell. 1 for 43. The final figures.
Change of bowling from the river and returning captain Simon Harmer.
Interesting to see how he mixes things up now. Sam Cook's got a couple left. Daniel Sams has got a couple left. Ben Allison also with 2 left, and Harmer, of course, now into his 3rd over.
Yeah, it's a crucial phase here now. The last 4 overs of this innings.
Fuller, born in South Africa, but actually grew up in New Zealand. So a very talented all-round cricketer, albeit he doesn't bowl much now, doesn't seem to. Certainly only had a couple of overs last season for the Hawks. Weatherly, oh, gets the full toss and puts it straight back to Harmer, and the skipper says, yep, played for that.
Always claim those are good deliveries when you bowl full toss, but great return catch there by Harmer, and a wicket that Essex possibly needed because he was starting to go, he was starting to look good. Good diving catch there to his left. He'll be happy with that.
Departs for 37, caught and bowled by Simon Harmer.
Well, Weatherly, like any batsman who hits a full toss straight to a fielder, will be pig sick at that.
There's nothing more frustrating, Simon, nothing more frustrating.
Looks like Liam Dawson into the mix. There he is. Drop down the order a little bit, or one place at least for this one.
Liam Dawson.
Yeah, he won't have much time to see himself in. Obviously, Fuller now is going to have to go as well. 5 down, they don't have a huge amount left in the tank, but these two are going to have to go.
Yep, no time to get his eye in now. And up against another spinner, of course, in Harmer. Good work from Rossington.
That looked like it kept a little bit low on him. Or he made it look like it did.
It's always that distinction, isn't it? Especially with the way Simon Harmer can bowl. He has that change of finger shape that seems to push the ball a little bit flatter and faster as well.
Yeah, Fuller's going to have to be the one that dictates this innings now, and Dawson potentially just rotating the strike, keep giving it back to the man who's in form at the moment.
You say that, of course, they've had both of them relatively newbies in terms of this innings. There's something of a rare mistake.
Yeah, that was the first misfield, I think, out there by Essex this evening, so we haven't seen too many of those.
Simon Harmer will be cracking the whip in terms of keeping your eye on the ball, literally. So, good over from the skip. 2 for 16 now. Now, how's he going to mix things up? Who's coming on from the Hayes close end? It looks like it's going to be Daniel Sam. Yeah, Sam's it is. Just looking to check. The left armer will come on for this one.
Change of bowling from the Hayes close end. Number 95, Daniel Sams.
It's always interesting from a skipper's point of view to have the options, the left armer, the leggy, The off spinner, the left arm spinner, plus your right armers.
Yeah, Essex have got a lot of different options, a lot of variation in their bowling attack, which is great as a captain, especially in T20 cricket. And the coach would have talked a lot about matchups, who bowls well at whose. So sometimes that's why you see a lot of changes in who's bowling and when.
Dawson trying to swing him away through leg, but not making a sound contact at all. I say, you look at the balls that the two batsmen have faced, they've only been in for 8 balls between them.
Yeah, that happens a lot in T20 cricket. You come in at the end of the innings, you have to go for it, you have to find your form, and we've seen on this pitch so far that all the batters haven't found the timing too easy so far. So they don't have a lot of time to get in and start going big.
James Fuller. That's slow at ball. Bemused Fuller. He wasn't, at one point I think he thought he was going to get a wide call. But yeah, look at the smile on Daniel Sam's face. It worked.
That's all you need it to do. It looked like he bowled a big cutter there, and maybe didn't come out as he intended it, but he's got away with one there.
Again, does him with the slower ball.
Yeah, slow ball bouncer, that looked like an attempted slow ball bouncer, just a little bit shorter into the pitch, and that didn't get up at all. That did not bounce whatsoever. So good option there by Sams. Looks like he's going to be bowling a lot of slower balls, a lot of cutters, rolling his finger over the ball. Should make it even harder for Fuller to time them.
He does look for that bouncer this time. It's only going to give away a single.
They say there's one length you don't bowl at the end of an innings, and that's A length. So he looks like that's called the car park length, Simon, I think. So, but he's bowled a really good bouncer there. He's bowled some slower balls. He's mixing it up, so making it more challenging. Really nice bouncer there. Great change of pace.
Such experience, of course, just back from the IPL, only arrived Wednesday last week. Been playing for the Mumbai Indians. Again, the pace deceiving the batter. 13 wickets out there in the IPL. Not quite the season that they were hoping. I think 5 times winners, the Mumbai Indians of the IPL. Won it 2 years ago, but finished bottom of the log this time round. So not the season that anybody was expecting from them. Fuller gets hold of it, but it's straight to Walter. The slight fumble, and Dawson's back very quickly to get the second, but still a good over from the Aussie left-hander. Just 5 from it.
Brilliant over there, really good over. Bowled a lot of slower balls, bowled one quicker bouncer into the pitch. Didn't concede a boundary, and that's what you want at this stage of the game. I think my 140 is looking ever more likely.
You've got more chance than my 155, that's for sure. You can do my numbers this week. Let's see now, Sam Cook being brought into the mix by Simon Harmer.
The River End, returning number 16, Sam Cook.
Beautiful sunlit evening now here at the Cloud County ground. Any threat of rain clouds seems to have diminished and departed, thankfully.
It's an absolute picture out here this evening.
1 for 4. Cook's figures read. Off the opening 2 overs of his stint. Took the first wicket of Anna Donald with 25 on the board. Cook to Dawson. 2 overs left. Down the track comes Dawson. That's a great shot. Used his feet, swung through it. Nice shot from Liam Dawson.
A cracking shot here from Liam Dawson. Just punishing down the ground. If you hit straight, you're going to get value for runs here at Essex. Really lovely shot.
Again goes down the wicket, this time swings across it but gets the same result. That's what the Hawks needed. Opening boundaries from Sam Cook's over. Cook dropping it short when he saw the man advancing.
Yeah, Dawson just piercing the gap there on this leg side boundary. He's got 2 out on the leg side and he's got a deep fine leg as well. Can't afford to bowl anything too foolish or too back of a length or too wide outside off stump either, because he hasn't got too much protection on that offside.
He goes high, he doesn't go long, and he goes out because it's Paul Walter. You've got to go very long if you're going to get it over the 6'7" frame of Paul Walter. And Sam Cook just changing things a little bit on that third ball. Dawson swinging as he had to do. And Dawson's gone for 11.
That's been a bit of a theme of this Hawks innings. They've got a few boundaries but then lost wickets at key times for them. Just lost his shape there, Dawson. Looked like he tried to overhit that and couldn't get it over Walter's head.
Well, the other Australian import in the Hawks lineup gets a chance to show what he can do. More commonly known as a death bowler, really, Nathan Ellis, but we'll try and make a change here.
72, Nathan Ellis.
And a 4 not out in that opener against Middlesex, but just 3 last night against Somerset. He's got a potential 9 balls left in this one. Again, the control from Cook very evident.
Yeah, his Cook here has mixed up his pace as well. That's what you have to do at the end of the innings. Fine legs up in the ring, so he's got everyone out straight now to Fuller. Can't afford to get it wrong here to Fuller. We know what he can do. We know how hard and how far he can hit it.
See Fuller taking his stance outside off stump. Oh, the wide's given. Sam Cook can't believe it. Fuller took his stance a good 2 or 3 inches outside off. Nigel Long wasn't having anything of it though. And that ball came through. Sam Cook looking disgusted with that call.
Looked very close indeed. We know which way Sam Cook thought it went.
Leg stump Yorker coming up. No, puts it in the same place. The ricochet will get the single, but that's not what the visitors need now.
Yeah, it looks like he's targeting that wide line with some slow balls. He's trying to bowl a little bit wider. Nothing into the batter so far.
Ellis. Again, changing the pace, pulling the full shot out of the batter's locker. And that is the end of Sam Cook's spell. Just 3 overs tonight, but 2 for 16. Very commendable figures for the young pace bowler.
Yeah, fantastic finish to that over, obviously conceding the 2 boundaries early on, but clawed it back with that wicket and really stemmed the flow of runs towards the back end of that over and did his job for his team.
Sams is going to bowl the final over of this Hawks innings.
Something Essex have done magnificently well is back their bowlers with their fielding. We've only seen 1 misfield this evening and Everything in the ring has been stopped. There's been some great diving efforts out on the fence as well, and it's just really stopped the Hawks being able to get a foothold in this game.
Sam still coming around the wicket. Fuller goes big. Fuller goes long. Fuller sent it to another postcode. That's a maximum from the bat of James Fuller. And boy, did that go a long way.
What a cracking shot that was. Just a bit of width outside off stump. Got his hands underneath it. That was almost coming towards us over here. What a lovely shot that was by Fuller. But needed that release of pressure there for the Hawks.
Well, what a shot that was from James Fuller. 4 balls left. Plenty of runs still to come, it would appear. He sent it out towards the former hospital, and that's another maximum. Well, past that 144, maybe that 155 is still in range for Hampshire.
I think the longer Fuller stays in, the more it will be in range. Lovely shot there, just time that. Effortless timing. Just in front of square, and I think dropped in the crowd, unfortunately.
Well, Dan Sams has got to think about this now. Consecutive 6s. Well bowled from the Aussie, really put it right up in the block hole.
Yeah, great delivery, great comeback delivery there. Dot balls at this stage are crucial, and Fuller was nowhere near going to run that, was he? He was taking all the strike he could get.
Two balls left for Daniel Sams. Fuller goes baseball. Going to pick up a couple. Walter gets it back in a hurry. Fuller making sure that he was on strike for the last ball of this inning.
Yeah, a little bit of missed timing there actually by Fuller. Probably didn't want to go that straight. But Sam's banging it into the pitch with a little bit more pace. Crucial last delivery here.
Sams with the final ball then. Fuller gets it away. Harmer gets it in. Hampshire will get a couple to finish things off. 17 off that final over to bring up the 150. Well, good work from Fuller. Finishes 20 not out, James Fuller. Nathan Ellis 3 not out.
Finishing on 150 for 6.
Satisfied will they be?
I think Essex Eagles will be very satisfied with this, with small ground, only 150 on the board. You feel like the Hawks never really got going. They had spells where they did. Fuller there at the end. You feel like he could have come in a little bit earlier, maybe had a few more runs on the board had he have done. But I think Essex will be the happier here.
Well, the batting card reads Ben McDermott caught Pepper bowled Harmer for 38. Anya Donald bowled by Sam Cook for 5. James Vince going cheaply caught by Rossington off the bowling of Matt Critchley. Caught and bowled Harmer for Joe Weatherly, the top scorer for the Hawks with 37. Ross Whiteley caught by Cook off the bowling of Nijar for 23. James Fuller actually finishing 24 not out. Did him a disservice there. Liam Dawson caught by Walter bowled Cook for 11. And Nathan Ellis 3 not out. 6 extras, 3 leg byes and 3 wides. Sam's bowling figures 0 for 35 off 4. Aaron Nijar 1 for 43 off 4. 2 for 16 off 3 for Sam Cook, including a vital maiden. Ben Allison 2 overs 0 for 17. Matt Critchley probably the figures of that, along with Sam Cook 1 for 20 off 4. And Simon Harmer 2 for 16 off 3. So 151 the target for the Eagles. Join us in 10 minutes for the Essex innings. 7.5
Hampshire Hawks, led by captain James Vince.
runs required, or just over, per over for the Essex Eagles to win. I'm Simon Ward, alongside me, Essex Eagles captain and Ireland international Kath Dalton. Kath, who do you think will be the happier of the two sides with that score on the board?
Oh, I definitely think Essex will be the happier of the two at this stage. With only 150 on the board, they'll be pretty happy, and with a very strong batting line-up here as well. And obviously on your home ground, you know the dimensions of the pitch, you know where's good to hit, and you know what the pitch does as well. So Essex will be the happier here, and if they can get this win on the board, it'd be great for everybody in this crowd.
So Vince opting for spin from the get-go with Liam Dawson, very experienced operator, of course World Cup winner himself with that England group 3 years ago. Bowled a miserly 1 for 17 here last year off his 4 overs, so he knows this game inside out. A new opening double act really for the Eagles, with young Will Buttleman up with the experience of Adam Rossington. It's going to be the youngster facing up first. Brings out the sweep and gets a 4 to start with. Well, Will Buttleman is not short of confidence, just 22 years of age, averaged just under 20 in this comp last season. High score of 56 not out, and what a great start it is there.
Yeah, fantastic start, convincing sweep there, and diving fielder at deep square leg could not get round to that, well timed.
Dawson had an economy rate of just over 7 in the T20 last season. 9 games he played, pulled in 10 wickets. But it's the breaks that he can apply as much as anything else that's so valuable to Vince and co.
Yeah, and Buttleman in some form as well, with 37 off 24 balls against Kent the other night. He looks full of confidence so far. When you start with a boundary as a batter, you can afford a few dot balls just to see the pitch. He's bowled a little bit shorter here, Dawson, since that sweep. A little bit shorter, a little bit flatter.
Plenty of cricket savvy as Liam Dawson. Interesting to see how Rossington and Buttleman established a tempo, the rhythm, if you will, between the two. Rossington, such experience, of course, a member of the Northampton side that won the title in 2016. Been there, seen it, done it pretty much.
Yeah, when I think of Rossington, I think of aggression. So during this power play, it'd be interesting to see if he goes aggressive straight away.
Looked like he got away with one there. Where did that come from? Liam Dawson, a very good over after that opening boundary, just 5 runs from it.
Yeah, he recovered that over very well. That looked like it just bounced a fraction on Rossington. Looked a little bit surprised, but a convincing sweep by Buttleman to start that over, and he seemed to build a bit more pressure. But these two will be pretty happy that they're just seeing themselves in and going from there. But Rossington, I think, will be the aggressive one, with a strike rate, a career strike rate of 140.1. So he does go for it.
Brad Wheel is going to get the opening dibs from the Hayes close end. There he is. Good economy rate last season, just under 8. 17 wickets as well. Took 3 for 46 in that game against Middlesex, 1 for 20 last night.
Looks like he's gone for a slower ball first up there, which is a good variation to start with, isn't it? But the Essex bowlers, the Essex seamers in that power play were magnificent, and they bowled back of a length, top of off stump. They didn't give any width. So the tactic here for the Hampshire Hawks could be similar, but they've started off with a slower ball.
Buttleman, who made his debut for the Eagles in this corresponding game last season, and is picking up a fair amount of experience. Played 9 games in that Vitality Blast campaign last season. Played all 3 thus far.
Shot.
Stepping out and stepping through, and that had some fuel to it, didn't it? That seemed to hit the boards before we actually looked away from the track.
That just cracked off his bat there for 4. What a lovely shot this is by Bottleman. Really lovely shot, just giving himself a little bit of room, threw his hands at it. Magnificent shot.
Yep, wide ball. Says umpire Chris Watts.
Everything that's come off Bottleman's bat so far has sounded great. Even the one that he hit towards backward point early on for a dot in this over still went with some force.
Bottleman, one of this group of young Essex batters that are really making the most of the experience, but there is Brad Wheel pulling out the trick to get the Corton bowled. Bottleman looking at the ground, looking at the track to say, what happened there?
Yeah, I'll be mightily disappointed with this because he was in form. He did sound like it was coming off his bat really well. Looked a bit surprised by that, maybe just bounced a little bit more, but a good Corton bowl by Will and possibly the breakthrough that they needed.
Just didn't seem to get in the right position for it, did he? And well, first wicket is down with 10 on the board for the Eagles, with 10 balls gone. Michael Pepper into the mix.
Yeah, unfortunate for Bottleman because he did look like he was aggressive. He did look like he had a lot of intent. But we know with T20 cricket, you can be out in just a blink.
Just looking to see that Vince dropping back third man for Pepper, bringing up his long leg. So they think there is maybe an option here. Going leg side and the leg by bringing Rossington onto strike.
Yeah, half an appeal there. Very, very tame appeal because that was going miles down leg side. But yeah, this is obviously, I think the power play, as I've said before, is a crucial phase of any T20 game. When you're not chasing too many, you kind of want to get off to a flyer to put a real dent in the score.
Oh, what a pickup that was from Rossington. Dispatched by the wicketkeeper for the maximum.
Yeah, fantastic shot and relief of pressure. Rossington, as we know, is a very aggressive striker of a cricket ball. Just let his hands flow, just timed off his bat there towards backward square leg and got a nice cheer from the Essex crowd here.
So, the scoreboard with a slightly different look than it had to the ball before. Liam Dawson is going to continue from the river end.
Yeah, and the Hampshire Hawks look like they're continuing with Dawson, as you just said, and unlike the Essex bowlers who did mix it up a lot in that power play, they look like they're going with their gun spin bowler here in Dawson and trying to get some crucial early wickets.
Dawson to Pepper. The reverse sweep comes out and it's, well, an audacious four. A young man in terrific form, Michael Pepper, and he just puts it out over the fielders' heads for the boundary.
What a fantastic shot this is early on to Dawson. The reverse sweep, or a switch hit actually, switched his legs over and pierced the field. Obviously a lot of gaps out there in this power play, but really fantastic shot.
Well, Dawson's come back to that. Oh, Pepper, 2 steps down the track, straight over extra cover. I'll take another 4, thanks.
Yeah, lovely shot again. Cracking shot, and this is what's difficult these types of players are difficult to bowl at, because he's just moved his feet, given himself room and smashed that over extra cover. Essex just look like they've got so much more intent than the Hampshire players.
37 in that game against Somerset. Michael Pepper, just a half dozen in the game at Canterbury. Oh, he's gone again. 1 bounce 4. I think Michael Pepper's probably got a date tonight. He wants to get things done rather quickly.
It seems like he's got a function, doesn't it? Definitely, function to go to. What a lovely shot this is.
That's the more PC comment.
That is the more PC comment.
Okay, I'll take that.
Got down on one knee and worked that towards backwards square. A lovely shot this is, and this is what's so important in power play cricket. If you're an opening batter or you're batting in at 3 and you come in early, just make sure that momentum doesn't shift to the bowling side, and he hasn't let them settle at all.
Dawson having to change things round a bit now, putting the boundary rider down behind deep square leg.
Shot.
Good shot for nothing.
Yeah, Pepper's looked like he's used his feet. He's thrown Dawson off his original plan. Really exploited the gaps in the field so far.
Just not quite the pitch for that shot from Pepper. Pepper, who has already scored a century against Hampshire in a warm-up game, a fortnight ago. 117 off 41 balls. No wonder he's feeling confident.
Yeah, he looks like he's in great touch as well. And he's confident. He's confident to play these shots early on.
Three fours to start with, 2 dots to follow. What's the finish going to be? Well, the single will do for Pepper. That's a good over for the Eagles. 13 from it, taking them up to 30 for 1 at the end of the 3rd over.
Yeah, and a big dent in that score now. If you start well as a batting side, even though they lost that early wicket, they've started well, they started aggressively, and Pepper just didn't let Dawson settle at all. He was changing the field, wasn't sure what to bowl, where to bowl, because he had options all around the ground. And as a batter, if you've got a few options against a bowler, in the end they don't know where to bowl. Great start by Essex.
Nathan Ellis into the attack for the visitors. Played for the Punjab Kings in the IPL recently, and of course for the Hobart Hurricanes back at home in the Big Bash. Now playing for his new team. Said he was so excited to be joining Hampshire, especially with the Shane Warne connections, of course. Showing good pace off the first ball. I must admit I haven't seen Ellis bowl before, but he's very athletic and slingy into the action. Pepper and Rossington just conferring there.
Yeah, I think the last thing that the Essex Eagles will want here is to lose a cluster of wickets after having such a good start. But yeah, he looks busy, doesn't he?
Changes it up for that one, but Pepper squeezes it away.
Yeah, change of pace early on.
Interesting talking to Simon Harmer ahead of this after the coin toss, and he was saying how important Adam Rossington's introduction has been to change the mix, and Matt Critchley of course as well, giving a different feel to the Eagles middle order batting and opening batting as well. Ellis dropping it very short, and that was pretty much a buffet ball for Rossington.
It was indeed. That looked like a slow ball bouncer, but just got that completely wrong. And Rossington, eagle-eyed and watched that carefully onto his bat, had to slow his hands down, but made sure he got enough of a connection to get it through for 4.
It's interesting because, of course, people likened his introduction at the top of the Essex batting to Cameron Delport, who made such an impact, certainly early doors.
Shots. Oh.
Good stop there from Vince. Just a single for Rossington.
Yeah, similar batters, Delport and Rossington looked to be aggressive. Obviously, we saw Sterling the other night opening up, and I love watching those types of players go for it early on in T20 cricket.
That's why the crowds come through the gate, most of them. That's what the difference at T20 is to every other form of cricket that we see. Pepper. Oh, slow ball bouncer. And credit to Pepper for not playing at that, because it would be easy having slotted 3-4s in the last over to really go for it.
Yeah, that was a tempting one, wasn't it? And he just let that go. He actually, I think he thought that might have been a wide, but wasn't given. And we want him out there. The more balls that him and Rossington can face, I just feel like this scoreboard is going to keep accelerating.
The advance not helping Pepper, and he knows, lifting his head up there as he did on that one coming down, and that's a reasonable first over from Nathan Ellis, just half a dozen from it.
Yeah, Nathan Ellis there just mixed up his pace and made it difficult for Pepper. Even though he was coming down to try and throw him off his length, he couldn't quite get the timing and couldn't quite do so. So good start there by Ellis.
Change of bowling from the river end. Number 44, Scott Curry.
Scott Curry into the attack. The only change, in fact, in 22 players in this game from the opening couple of matches, with Chris Wood being rested for this one. So Scott Curry in for his first taste of the Vitality Blast this season.
No, he's asking about
Interesting, that leg side flick of Rossington's very much almost one-handed.
Yeah, he's trying to get something on that because he's got a fine leg or a deep square that's quite far round. If he does get something on it, there's actually a short fine in here as well. That could race away for 4. Just hasn't quite got hold of that yet.
Oh, that's poor stuff from Scott Curry. He'll be very annoyed with that. The wide ball as well. Not much that McDermott could do with that one as it flew past his ear.
Yeah, runs are flowing here for the Essex Eagles, even if it's not off the bat. A diving keeper couldn't stop that. It just bounced a little bit awkwardly in front of him and has just raced away to this short boundary for 4.
I suppose looking at McDermott and Rossington, two very similar wicket-keeper batsmen, aren't they? Very similar in the way they play, their size and the way they move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Similarities there?
Yeah, I think you have quite a few similar sort of players in all teams, and it just depends who performs on the day and goes on and gets a big score.
Oh, Pepper found that, and that one is headed into the bar in the pavilion and is now ordering drinks for everybody in the crowd. Terrific fall from Michael Pepper.
Yeah, lovely pull shot there by Pepper. Played it in front of square. Effortless timing by him, and everything that's come off his bat has just flown across this turf this evening.
Scott Curry looking for a response then. And that is a good line from the young Hawks bowler. 19 wickets last season in his 9 games. 4 for 24, his best.
Yeah, and a good run rate here by Essex so far. This is a completely different power play to that of the Hampshire side that we saw earlier on.
It's gone up, it's gone long, it's gone 1 bounce 4 behind the keeper. Fortune favouring the brave for Michael Pepper.
Yeah, when you're going aggressive, which Pepper has done so far this innings and has really gone for his shots, you do buy your own luck, and he's thrown that absolute kitchen sinker, that thick edge that it nearly flew all the way for 6. But you buy your own luck in this game, and I think being positive and being aggressive and having that intent to score has really been the difference here so far.
Doesn't need to get anything off that last ball, because the Eagles have brought up their half century in 5 overs. You don't need me to do the maths to know that they're going great guns at the moment when you look at the Hawks, who had half that score at this point in their innings.
Yeah, and the run rate over 10. 2 batters that look like they're in, that look like they're positive, looking to score off every ball. And those boundaries, they're the key. If you're a bowling side, it's all about dot balls. If you're a batting side, it's all about boundaries.
Ellis to Rossington, and just get the feeling that Rossington doesn't need to open his shoulders too much right now when he sees the demolition that's going on at the other end. He's be quite happy with that scoreboard and not having it right. He's hitting at a decent strike rate himself, but you know, he's only faced 5, 6 balls.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ellis had to bowl a slower ball there, almost as a defensive slower ball, to try and stop him scoring. But I think, knowing Rossington and the way I've seen him play, I still feel like he's gonna go for it. Even though Pepper's going at a great rate and he could just rotate the strike, which would be the logical thing to do, I still feel like he's going to go for a shot.
There's one of them, just getting past Vince's right shoulder. They'll come back for the second. Didn't get hold of that at all, but spiralling away from the Hawks captain.
Yeah, just got a little bit in to out on that shot. Scuffed off the face slightly and raced away for 2. But doesn't look like he's holding back, does he?
Oh! Ellis gets his compatriot. Rossington swinging across the line, and Nathan Ellis picks up another wicket for the Hawks.
Yeah, crucial wicket there by the Hampshire Hawks. They needed that. There was a partnership building between Pepper and Rossington, and he's just played across the line there a little bit. Too full of delivery to really play that shot to, and has been bowled. So, crucial wicket. Wonder whether it will turn the game. It will maybe slow up the Essex run rate. I'm not too sure, but a wicket that they certainly needed.
42 for the second wicket.
Yeah, as you can see here, just tried to give himself a little bit of room by stepping outside leg stump and went a little bit too far and looked a little bit late on it, actually.
Matt Critchley in as the regular number 4, would appear now for the Eagles.
Yeah, Matt Critchley is also in very good form with 60 off 38 deliveries against Somerset. Some informed batters in this Essex side.
Now got to look to try and maximise this position. 3 balls left in the power play. Good stop from Joe Weatherly there. He's behind point.
That's almost a crowd catch, that one. Bump ball into the ground, and those who weren't paying attention, maybe sipping a beer, might have thought that was out.
Be interesting to see. Sorry, Kath. It's going to be interesting to see now what James Vince does tactically. He's got rid of Rossington, but Pepper's in prime form. He knows Critchley's in form. How he's now going to work his bowling attack at the end of this over as they move out of the power play.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a lot of spin from the Essex Eagles in those middle phases, and it'd be interesting to see if Vince does turn to his spinners, try and slow this run rate. I know they've lost 2 wickets so far, the Essex Eagles, but they're going at such a good rate here. They can afford a few quiet deliveries.
Yeah, and Mason Crane, their leggy, loves bowling here. Had a 2 for last season, and I remember at least a couple of 3-fers that he's had before that. So once the power play is over and the fielders can be in positions of choice, shall we say, be interesting to see how Mason Crane does this evening. Nathan Ellis with the last ball of his second over. Vince shying, but it really didn't threaten the stumps at that point. And 53 for 2 at the end of the power play for the Eagles. At this point, Hampshire Hawks were 20 runs shy of that, 33 runs they had on the board then.
Yeah, great power play this by the Essex Eagles. I think they've gone out with intent. They've looked to hit the bad ball for 4 or 6 and looked really aggressive running between the wickets as well. And just that positivity in their movement in the crease. They haven't let any bowler settle just yet.
Mason Crane is going to be introduced straight away.
32, Mason Crane.
Coming on from the river end. Which normally I think is the preferred end for leggies here at the Cloud County Ground. Though they're still fairly short boundaries, it has to be said.
Yeah, I know which end I'd rather bowl if I was bowling tonight.
Crane to Critchley. Somewhat dramatic fall there, but thankfully okay to return.
It'll be interesting to see how these Essex batters go about this middle phase with such a good platform. After that power play spell, will they just keep knocking it out to the boundary riders and capitalise on the bad ball? Will they continue that aggressive form that they've had so far?
It's gone straight towards the pavilion once again. It's Michael Pepper's preferred choice of ending up where this ball's going to go. So many 4s have come this way.
Yeah, wonderful sweep there. Lovely sweep.
Great technique from Pepper. Goes again.
Yeah, it looks like his preferred option there, Pepper. He swept early on in his innings as well. So it looks like he's just wanting to throw Mason Crane off his length, make him bowl maybe a fraction flatter, fraction more outside off stump. If he's bowling floaty on leg stump, he's going to sweep him, and sweeping him well so far.
Again, Critchley happy to just find his feet in this innings.
We spoke earlier about bowlers bowling in tandem, in partnerships, and it's the same for batters. One that can be the aggressor and one that just knocks it around and just keeps rotating the strike. And that scoreboard keeps ticking.
Well, this time it's the reverse sweep. Doesn't seem to matter which side of the wicket it's on. Michael Pepper's going to sweep it for 4.
Yeah, wonderful shot here by Pepper. Again, the sweep, or the switch hit almost. Hybrid version of it. Lovely shot. He likes to sweep, doesn't he?
Feels like he's got his eye in, doesn't he? And as long as the ball is in the right sort of vicinity, he's dispatched it thus far. 31 off 19 for Pepper. Final ball of the 7th. Crane pleading for a leg before, but he ain't going to get it. 65 for 2 now. The Eagles after 7 overs.
Yeah, another really good over there from the Essex Eagles. Crane trying to appeal for an LBW to some jeers of the Essex faithful here, but they've struggled so far. Pepper really in the ascendancy with 31 off 20.
James Fuller.
And Critchley yet to get going, but wonderful partnership building here.
So James Fuller did it with the bat, 20 not out in the first innings. Now coming on to see what he can do with the ball. As I mentioned earlier, only bowled 2 overs in the entire campaign last season. Didn't bowl, bowled 2 overs in that Middlesex game. And 2 for 23 off his 4 against Somerset. Now opens things up against the Eagles and starts with a wide.
That's not how you want to start your first delivery. You want it to be a good delivery, so be disappointed with that. There's been a few more extras from this Hampshire side compared to the Eagles.
Pepper hitting at 155 at the moment, just what the Eagles needed to get that secure start, get the momentum into their innings, which has put Hampshire and James Vince on the back foot.
It has definitely done that, and the run rate well over 9 at the moment. And the required rate only 6.55, so Essex really in the ascendancy here. They just look like they're cruising. Shot.
Dropping just short of the fielder, Nathan Ellis taking the ball on the bounce, and just a single for Critchley.
Yeah, short ball there by Fuller, but well fielded out in the deep, because as it came off his bat, it did look like it was going to race away to the boundary, but good fielding out there. And that's something that Essex Eagles did very well, was making sure that their fielders were in the right positions, cutting off those boundary balls and making sure there was nothing in the ring.
There will be many loyal Essex fans that were here for the Battle of the Birds last season and will not need me to remind them, I'm going to, that they were chasing 155 last year and lost the last 5 wickets for 22 to lose by 13 runs. So there will be cautious optimism in the home fans, but probably not much more than that right now. Nevertheless, a good start thus far.
Yeah, as we know with T20 cricket, if you lose a couple of wickets, lose a cluster of wickets, it can throw the momentum in the opposite direction. So Essex will want to make sure that they just keep the board ticking over. They don't do anything too crazy just yet, because they don't need to with this great platform.
That said, of course, referring to last season, lots of different faces in the Eagles lineup, which we've already talked about. Similarly, in the Hampshire side, no Sam Northeast. He's down in Glamorgan now. Again, Pepper swinging through. Good change-up bowling from Fuller. Kyle Abbott, of course, isn't in the mix anymore. Darcy Short was another one who was prominent for the Hawks last season. Came 4th in the end and lost to Somerset in that semi-final at Edgbaston. They had a slow start then, and seem to remember they had half a dozen wins to get the momentum in this comp. Fuller drops short, Pepper drops back, and we've got the same result. Another 4 for Michael Pepper. And the scoreboard ticks up to 72 for 2 now for the Eagles.
Yeah, Fuller just kicking the ground there after that delivery, after a really good over that hadn't gone for many runs, just a couple of singles, and bowls one that's just way too short, and it's just pounced on there by Pepper. Lovely shot. Pierced the gap in the field. Just keep the scoreboard ticking.
Scott Curry being brought back on from the River End.
From the River End, returning number 44, Scott
Michael
Curry.
Pepper now 32 of 36, I should say, of 25 balls, 8 fours in that mix. Hasn't wasted time running singles this innings.
If you're hitting boundaries, you don't need to run singles.
Exactly right.
Yeah, something Hampshire Hawks have really struggled with is a cluster of dot balls. There's been either some singles or some boundaries, and there's not been a run of dot balls that's built any kind of pressure on these Essex batters.
First ball from Curry to Critchley. Curry's first over went for 13 from the other end, from the Hayes close end, so swapping around.
Yeah, in this middle phase of the game, slower balls are going to be crucial. We saw that in the first innings. Essex bowlers bowled a lot of slow balls and a lot of spin.
Critchley goes aerial, doesn't get hold of all of it, pick up a couple for it.
Sometimes those mistimed shots, because they've not gone directly to a fielder and well timed, they actually you pick up a 2. Almost like a pitching wedge into the into the outfield.
Had that effect when it landed, didn't it? Plugged and just about bounced. Same position, but just the single on this occasion.
Yeah, just knocking over that scoreboard here at the moment, Essex. You feel like a breakthrough wicket would be the thing that would upset this game at the moment.
Yeah, the Eagles in charge of that run rate required at just over 6.5. I'm quite happy to keep things ticking. Oh, that's gone very high. Has it gone long enough? Yes, it has. It's the maximum from Pepper. 6 for Michael Pepper.
What a cracking shot this is down the ground by Michael Pepper. Just held his shape, lofted it over the infield, and it's gone away for a maximum.
Well, Pepper racked up 37 in that game down at Taunton, so he's past that total already. Smashed 260 runs in the T20 campaign for the Eagles last season. High score of 55 not out, that gave him an average of 26. But this season he's already seemed to have pressed the accelerator a little harder. Only half a dozen, of course, at Canterbury, but that 37 at Taunton, backed up by this innings. Oh, that's embarrassing fielding for James Fuller. He got the long barrier down, he thought.
That's not the type of fielding you want in front of an Essex, a packed Essex crowd either. I'm sure you'll be getting a little bit of jip out there.
Plenty of sympathy from those in front of the pavilion.
Absolutely,
Not.
of course.
Please, can I have some more? 14, off that over. And now James Fuller is back into the attack, of course. His partnership sprinting up to 34 in the quarter of an hour it's been together.
It's been a wonderful partnership so far, and you just feel if they keep building on this partnership, it's just going to run away from the Hampshire Hawks here this evening.
Fuller to Pepper. Again, Pepper thought he was going to get the benefit of the call from the ump, but Chris Watts looked at it and went, no, that's fine.
What I like about this innings from Pepper, though, is even though when he has swung and missed and made a few mistakes, he hasn't gone into his shell. He's kept going for his shots, because that's obviously how he plays. He's playing to his strengths. And that's so important as a player to just keep backing yourself, no matter the situation.
Comes through on the full, and Pepper squirts it away to mid-off for the single.
Yeah, James Fuller just looking a little bit disgruntled with himself there. Looking a little bit frustrated. Obviously that misfield in the deep, and then one decent delivery but then a full toss. He just looks like he's not quite found his rhythm.
2 for 23 in that game last night. So should have some confidence about his bowling. As you say, Kath, it looks a strong score on the scoreboard, but was it a certain Yorkshire and England opening batsman who shall remain nameless said you've always got to add 2 wickets to the score and see where you're really at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in any form of cricket, if you lose a couple of wickets in quick succession, it can be a bit more challenging, look a little bit more daunting.
Oh, Pepper slams that one away. He's only going to pick up a single though.
Yeah, he looked a bit frustrated there because he had a little bit of width with only deep cover out on the boundary. He just needed to get that through extra cover, and that would have raced away for 4, but didn't quite get enough of it there.
45 off 30 now for the youngster. Well, 24 years of age. I guess you can call him a youngster, can't you?
Absolutely, still a youngster.
Critchley. Stepping out to try and open up the offside.
Yeah, Critchley's just played an anchor role here, hasn't he? He's 13 off 12 and he's just hitting out to the boundary sweepers and picking up the singles, getting the informed Pepper back on strike. Fuller hasn't quite had an answer to it yet.
Final ball of Fuller's second over. Oh, a little ramp, and that's going to go for 6. Well, how many times have we said the last ball makes the over? And yet again, it happens again. That's a 50 for Michael Pepper. 31 balls, and well, what an innings it's been.
Michael Pepper's 50, he moves on to 51 off just 31 balls.
Yeah, what a way to get to your 50 as well. His little ramp shot all the way for 6. He's played a magnificent innings here and really put Essex in the ascendancy to go on and cruise this game. He's been the difference so far between the two sides, I would say.
Halfway point. Essex 96 now for the loss of 2. Mason Crane back into the mix, leggy to leggy. Just trying to pull Critchley out of the crease there. Crane, well, it's not been a particularly good start to the season. Had a relatively poor county championship so far. Went on loan to Sussex this month. But now back in the yellow. That's a good ball.
That's when you know luck's a little bit on your side. Mason Crane will be pretty gutted that that didn't go on to hit the stumps.
Pepper setting up now to get the second half of his game. Oh, Just looked for a moment like it was going to be there for Brad Wheel. He thought so, but ultimately just evaded his grasp, and Pepper will be kicking himself right now. He's picked up a couple for it.
Yeah, it looked like his footing just got caught in the outfield there, and he made an unfortunate slip at the wrong moment. Shot.
More measured shot from Pepper. Good fielding on that boundary. That's great work from Nathan Ellis. Really committed himself to the dive to make sure it wasn't getting through.
Yeah, that brings up the 100 up for Essex in 10.4 overs, so that they are cruising here at the moment. Don't need to do anything too silly, but fantastic bit of fielding that was out on the fence.
A defensive shot from Michael Pepper.
Didn't think we'd ever see that tonight.
Just an awareness of the position that they're in. The century now up in the 11th over. 151 the target, don't forget. There's 50 left.
Yeah, just made a little bit of room on that delivery and snuck through for the single, but another, well, actually a decent over by Hampshire Hawks there, but he looks frustrated because there could have been a wicket in that as well.
Half-century partnership up in 33 balls between these two. And that's what the Eagles have seemed to have been able to manipulate and manufacture. 42 it was for the second wicket, and now over 50, or 50 now for the third.
To the attack, number 8, Liam Dawson.
So, James Vince wants a handbrake put on this innings. Call for Dawson. Liam Dawson back into the attack.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think spin in the middle overs is the way to go. We saw it with Essex for a huge amount of spinners who were bowling in that middle phase, and it really put a stranglehold on the Hampshire Hawks. You have to go to your best bowler in this situation. You need wickets here. They need to stem the runs, obviously, but wickets are going to be crucial.
Comes through on the full to Pepper and slams it away baseball style.
Yeah, and Essex don't need to do anything here. They just need to keep the board ticking over, play sensible cricket shots, look for the bad ball, but nothing too silly. They've got a great position that they've got themselves into.
Critchley picks it up and puts it through cow shot corner.
To the delight of this Essex crowd, that's gone for 4. What a lovely shot this is by Critchley. He's played his role really well here so far and just pounced on this delivery. Just a nice swing of the bat into that pocket, into that gap in the outfield, and it's raced away for 4.
Liam Dawson trudges back to his mark.
Doesn't look like he wants to bowl much anymore.
Good fielding from the skip. James Vince getting down quickly to that one. He's heading for the boundary.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how tricky it is to hold that cricket ball. Vince there just trying to make sure it's nice and dry for Dawson, particularly as a spinner. You don't want a slippy ball in your hand, and make sure it's nice and dry. Difficult in these conditions though under lights. Oh.
Pepper gets the long handle out and sends it over to Molsham Street. What a huge 6 that was.
What a fantastic shot this is by Pepper. It didn't really look like he gave it the full kitchen sink, but he just timed it. What a lovely shot, and that's gone out the ground here towards some big trees at the back of that stand. What a lovely shot.
There will be some pretty scared owls right now in that vicinity. .63 off 37.
Do you think the Owls know it's the cricket season?
They do now, if they didn't. Liam Dawson has got his hand in his pocket thinking, okay, 12 off 4, what do I do? How do I come back into this? He'll have a way.
Oh,
Michael Pepper's having none of it, because there goes another one.
another fantastic shot here by Pepper. Again, effortless swing through the ball, just used his feet, advanced down the track to Dawson, who really hasn't known where to bowl to him all evening. Little shuffle down, and boy did he hit that.
Well, the way he's batting, 69 off 38. Pepper's on a promise this evening. Little less gainly shot. Well, what an over that was. 18, 19 off it in the end. And the Eagles well on their way now. End of the 12th over, 121 for 2. And of course, that is going to benefit as well the Essex Cricket Foundation, because Trade Nation, our partners, for every 6 scored this season will donate £50 to the Essex Cricket Foundation, and we've had plenty already in this innings, 3 from Michael Pepper and 1 from Adam Rossington. So £200 to the good, the Essex Cricket Foundation, and we ain't done yet. Goes again, but this one's going to be out, is it? And it drops just short. It was so tempting for Ross Whiteley. And Mason Crane thinks, well, what have I got to do here?
Yeah, frustration growing here for Crane. That just dropped just short. Not sure whether he could have pulled out a dive, actually, but didn't go for it in the end.
Critchley goes long this time. Critchley sends it long, and the maximums keep raining in on the Cloud County ground this evening.
Yeah, Critchley's joining in the action now, which is great to see. Another wonderful 6 straight down the grounds where Essex have looked to hit pretty much all evening, looked to hit straight. Lovely shot there.
That's very good fielding, but that's harsh. James Fuller did everything he could to stop that, and that just kind of typifies the way that it's going for Hampshire this evening.
It really does. A diving stop that doesn't quite come off. Another hard sweep there. Raced across the outfield, and Fuller with a dive. Thinks he's flicked it back, but he hasn't done enough.
Critchley, 29 now off 18. Deft late cut brings nothing. But the scoreboard has a secure feel to it now for the Eagles fans. 19 left to win. Plenty of time, plenty of wickets. And the way these two are going, they're not going to need either.
It's raining boundaries here in Chelmsford at the moment. Another great shot, piercing the gap in the fielding, and Crane not really knowing where to bowl here. A little bit too short. Let his hands go through it, and that's another boundary towards the Essex Eagles total.
15 off the over with another single to come. 16 off Mason Crane's third over. Not going to be a happy night for Crane at Chelmsford for once.
Yeah, grabs his sweater there, looks a little bit frustrated with what's happened there this evening, but these two have been just magnificent. Put on a real spectacle for us here at Essex, and doing really well.
At the Hayes close and returning to the bowling attack number 58, Brad Wheel.
As we're getting towards the end of this game, he says cautiously, I'm going to get you to start thinking about who your Woodland Group player of the match will be. I've got an idea. In fact, I've got 2 ideas. But just have a think about who you're going to nominate, Kath. got a feeling one of them's out there.
Potentially, yes. I've been put in a privileged position here of naming the man of the match.
And I can assure you, money has not changed hands yet. Brad Wheel back into the attack. James Vince desperately trying to stem the flow of runs that's just continued with this partnership between these two, and continues. Nothing Wheel can do that, as Critchley gets out his 9-iron and puts it straight back.
Yeah, with mid-off up in the circle there, was just almost a free hit. Swing of his hands, lovely shot down the ground, and another boundary. There's been so many boundaries in this innings compared to that of the Hampshire Hawks.
10 needed.
Oh,
And there's 6 of them. Another 6, this time from Critchley. 2 young men really enjoying their jobs this evening.
what a cracking shot this is by Critchley. It's just thundered off his bat out towards just in front of square, and what a magnificent shot. Just gave himself a little bit of room, freed up his arms, and that's into the Essex crowd. Lovely shot.
Four to win now for the Eagles. It's been tough going for the visitors this evening, no question about that. Critchley looking to finish things off in the 14th over. Well, maybe he's going to allow Pepper to have the honour.
I think Critchley must have heard that I was nominating my man of the match very soon. Decided to get in on the action.
Well, go on then. I'm going to ask you before Pepper faces this ball. Who is your Woodlands Group Player of the Match?
I think it's pretty obvious. My Woodlands Group Player of the Match is Michael Pepper for a wonderful innings, really the innings that's changed the game for the Essex Eagles and helped them go on and win this game with ease.
Oh, disappointing to get the dot ball there, looking for the ramp finish, but not to be. Well, the Hawks, who did the double over the Eagles last season, are not going to manage that this. They're going to go 0 from 3 in this campaign. The Eagles 2 and 1 so far.
Oh.
Cut away for 4. Job's done inside the 14th over. 6 overs and 2 balls left. The Eagles have scored there. Well, over 150. 152 to be precise. They've raised a total of £152 for the Penathlon charity, who give thousands of young people with disabilities and special educational needs every year the opportunity to take part in competitive sport. Big thanks to the Woodland Group for making this donation possible. I'm going to go and try and catch up with Michael Pepper. I leave you with the voice of Kath Dalton to sum things up.
Yeah, what a fantastic win that is there by the Essex Eagles. A convincing win with 37 balls that were still remaining at the end of this game. But Michael Pepper with a wonderful innings. It was a joy to watch, 75 of just 45 balls. And Essex throughout that innings went at a run rate of well over 10. Just convincing. And I think what was key really for the Essex Eagles was that power play up top. Even though they lost 2 early wickets, they kept going, and Pepper was really in the ascendancy for that. He just kept the scoreboards ticking, and Critchley, with 45 of 24 balls, ably assisted him in what has looked like a very easy win for these Essex Eagles this evening. Hampshire Hawks will be disappointed tonight. Another loss to their name. They didn't really get going, and as I said before, it was really that power play spell. They lost a lot of wickets early on, the Hampshire Hawks, and never really got any boundaries There was a lot of dot balls, some very good spin bowling in the middle as well by the Essex Eagles, and really restricted them and made it challenging. So what a wonderful win this is here for the Essex Eagles. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we look forward to welcoming you back very soon. But make sure you stay on the line, make sure you keep watching while we have the post-match interview with our player of the match, and well-deserved, Michael Pepper.
Yeah.
Great surprise as to who we would have first player of the match is. It is, of course, Michael Pepper. Michael, there seems to be a determination in every batsman having that
Yeah, he was sitting there. Oh, right. Who was his real name? Jay. Jake. Jake. Yeah, I just called him Jake.
Good. You can call him my thing.
Can you see the different shots?
Yeah. He's filming right now.
Oh, is he? Oh, is he down there? Is he? Oh, right. I'm just checking Joe because I need to keep an eye on Joe.
Yeah, cool.
Now.